Hey guys, welcome back to What's Happening Now. I'm Devin here with my compatriots Greg, Chris, and Scott. Today we're going to get into the clash at the border this week between Trump and Biden and the litany of developments that then happened subsequently. Did you guys watch the speeches from Biden and from Trump down there?
No. But I heard it was probably the greatest speech of all time. You could ask anybody.
Oh,
It's the greatest.
I have to be honest.
It was
No,
the
I did
greatest.
not watch this.
I mean, absolutely, Trump was very typical, typical Trump, obviously making good promises that he's going to keep, all that stuff. But if you really look at Biden, it's honestly very, very sad. The man has zero ability to say anything correct. He mumbles constantly, and it's no wonder that he is down 4 points in the most recent Forbes poll.
What do you mean though? Like, I could have sworn his doctor just said he looks the youngest that he's ever looked.
I mean, all you have to do is just watch the proof.
I'm just
I did watch a video on Trump, and it was him slapping Vince McMahon.
Oh yeah, that's fucking hilarious,
You
dude.
see that?
Well,
What video? I don't know.
That's
It's-
old
It's
wrestling,
when
man.
Trump was in the WWE, goes in there, he smacks Vince
Oh,
McMahon
yeah.
in the face.
well, that's what he's doing to
Slap.
Biden this election, man.
He's like, there's a lot of damage to his face, huge damage.
Yeah.
He touched
Ask
me, he
anybody, they'll
shouldn't
tell
touch
you.
me. It's like, I mean, that man's been around forever. You know what I mean? In American society and American culture, Trump has always been right at the bottom of American culture. He's always not, he's never acted like an elitist.
No, not really. No, he's in movies. He's been on
TV.
talk shows. You know what I mean? Like,
He's
so
when he went to the border, he went to the actual part of the border that has the problem.
Right.
Biden did not.
So did he go to Eagle Pass? Is that where you know?
Yeah.
Yes, that's where he did go.
Yeah, okay. I was
yes,
I
and
was wondering.
when he was down there, he met with the actual agents that worked for Texas
And Governor Abbott.
Governor Abbott.
Yep.
Nice.
And by the way, I don't know if just a little side note, but did you see? I saw something from Fox News that said that the Border Patrol, I think the Border Patrol Union, told Biden basically to f off.
Yeah.
I believe that. Like, I mean, he hasn't done anything for him. He took all their resources from them. You know what I mean? He basically put them in a very,
I think
hard spot to be in. Like, you know what I mean? Between a rock and a hard place. Like, or
the direct words were "keep our names out of your mouth, Biden." As in
oh,
they
they
didn't want us-
pulled a Will Smith.
Basically, they didn't. Yeah, I mean,
Did they slap?
without the slap?
I was about to say, did they slap
But-
him? Because I would have enjoyed watching
I mean,
that.
Watch that.
If you watch that video of Biden's press conference, the people behind him are Border Patrol agents. That's it. He doesn't
Yeah.
really. I mean, he has one. He had one. It was a representative there
I don't know
from.
what you're trying
He
to
had
say.
one representative there from Texas that he was meeting with, but everything else was just Border
He
Patrol
was-
agents.
He was
The federals.
Nobody
was-
wanted to talk to him.
Yeah, it's just all
Nobody
feds.
wants anything to do with Biden at this point. They just want him to go away.
Biden was miles away from the actual problem area, the
Was
border
he?
causing.
He was in Brownsville.
Where's
Where's
wasn't it?
Brownsville?
Yeah, Brownsville, probably pretty close to an ice cream parlor, maybe a daycare.
Yeah.
You mean he wasn't walking the border, eating ice
No.
cream as he went?
No, I mean, there was a video I saw of him walking with two border security agents,
I'm curious. I'm just going to look at
and he was stiff. I mean, his gait was like, he was like as stiff as a board. He could
Like a
barely
zombie.
walk. Yeah, Brownsville is
Yeah.
right on the border, but it's not where they're crossing at.
Right.
They're
It's not the
crossing
problem.
at Eagle Pass,
right.
and so they were just trying to show a much different story with the president than what's actually happening. But with Texas fortifying their border, the migrants have actually shifted over to California, and they're now starting
Right,
to.
well,
Yeah, because they didn't
there.
fortify it.
Yeah, they fortified it, and they couldn't get through as easy anymore.
From what I was hearing on certain news channels, basically that Brownsville was where they used to be coming to.
Yeah.
It used to be the hot spot for the
Right.
illegal immigrants, and then it moved down to Eagle Pass,
Yeah.
and now
It's-
it's moving again.
It's down there by the ocean. You just
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good port of entry, and then I mean, it really just shows you how behind the times the Democrats are. They have no idea what's going on. Otherwise, they might have, I don't know, showed up at a different place.
It's not that they
No.
don't know what's going on. Again, I think it's They're trying to steer us in the wrong direction because they want us to fail. They want this to happen. They want to hurt the American people so that they can come in, with it being an election year and be like, vote for me. We'll fix all your problems. But they're just going to make more problems is what they're going to do, So
yeah, being a problem. Very typical for Biden.
A while ago, I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were flying up to Canada too, and then coming down from the Canadian border.
I heard about
and that one really got me because it's like, how hard it is to cross the Canadian and United States border.
Oh, yeah.
Like either way,
right?
I mean, even as a truck driver, man, it's really hard to get across that border. And they were just walking across the border up there too. It was really weird because I seen it on the Tim Pool podcast.
Well, then that means that Canada's going along with it too, and they want it to happen.
It's the border agents.
Well, everybody
they just don't. They're not allowed to do anything.
These independent
reporters
were
going along with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're not allowed to do anything. If they are taking their orders from the federal government,
well, that's true.
They have and they're not giving them any authority to act. Then they can't really do anything at all, can they?
Right.
Well, they could be.
They can't. They can't work against the federal government. They have to follow orders.
Well, if they want to keep their jobs and have a paycheck.
If they want to do anything, because if let's say they arrest somebody against orders, well, that's basically court-martialing, isn't it? That's a federal crime. That's probably some serious jail time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know. I just know that everybody back then was saying it's all coming from the southern border, and then these independent reporters were reporting on both borders.
Right.
And not a lot of people know that these migrants were also coming from Canada.
Weren't they just flying people straight in?
I heard that too. I heard that story too.
Yeah,
that's a more recent story. The story I'm talking about is a little bit older.
Yeah.
And these people actually went out and was like, no, it's not just the southern border. They're flying into Canada and then just coming back down, and they're just letting them in that way too. And then
it really is a terrible situation. I don't even know how. It's just incompetency. It's like when you listen to Biden speak. Okay, he just does one thing and one thing only. Just blames everyone else for the problem.
You know what?
He blames the Republicans for not just going along with us. Going along with what? Spending millions and millions of dollars.
Billions.
Billions. Excuse me. My cheapness. I didn't realize.
Millions.
I knew nothing.
With your millions, get out of here.
Yeah, that's just like the keep the government open. We gotta pass this bill so we can keep the government rolling. But we're gonna add in all this other stuff that doesn't make any sense, like Ukraine supporting that, with Israel, Taiwan.
Right.
Why not just pass a bill to say, hey, this is what we need to keep the government rolling for now, and we'll deal with these things later. Which I don't think we should be paying for that at all. Right. But look, dude, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't make any sense to say, hey, the government needs to keep on rolling. In order for it to keep on rolling, we need $100 billion from the people.
Right.
And we're going to spend your money. We're going to spend $100 billion of your money.
Print more money
on this.
Decrease the value of our dollar again.
Well, what I'm saying is they turn it around and say, well, if we don't pass this bill, the government's going to shut down. And it's like, well, then just pass a bill to run the government. Well, stop trying to pass a bill that is supporting the Ukrainians, is supporting Taiwan, supporting Israel. Like let's just fund our government. If that's what you need, pass a bill for that.
It's real sad. But for anybody that actually lives with a budget, okay, which by the way, we all should be living with a budget. Right. And if you don't, well,
you should be budgeting your money.
You're just inviting ruin. But if you have a budget and all of a sudden now you can't afford to pay things and you're facing a litany of debt or a massive amount of debt, then what should you probably do?
Well, the government just tells you they're going to take some more.
Well, you cut some stuff. Look, sometimes you have to look at that Netflix and go, I really like Netflix, but maybe.
But as of right now,
I shouldn't have that right.
I'm going to have to let that go.
Right.
Maybe downsize.
Yeah. Just pay my house, my car.
Well, the worst part of what the government does is they want all this money. If they were spending the majority for us, for the Americans, for our government, that might be one thing, but it's not. It's like a little drop of that goes to, let's keep the government open. And then the rest of it, we're just handing out throughout the world, for no reason.
If all three of you give me your paycheck,
you'll be able to live really well.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm not going to spend it on what you eat.
Why not?
Well, because
you love us, don't you?
Well,
no, I get what you're saying. No,
it's somebody else's money. They have no accountability.
Right.
The way the founding fathers created this country was that it was supposed to be local governments that are closest to the people.
Right.
We're the ones who governed. You know what I mean? We're governed by the people. But at some point, Washington, D.C. has taken all that away. They have cemented power within their own selves. They were only meant to deal with foreign, military, and making sure the states were safe. You know what I mean? And any dispute between the states.
Right.
That's what the Supreme Court's for. But now they're in every aspect of your life. So now they tell states, no, you can't have a pipeline run through your state. You know, we control that. We control the waters of America. We control everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? They were just there to make sure that California couldn't tariff Nevada or Ohio couldn't put tariffs on Kentucky.
Right.
That we acted as one country.
Right.
But now we have these representatives in Washington, D.C. that they go there and they think they don't work for us. They don't care, that they are not close to the people.
Right.
So they just tax you and they spend your money on frivolous
high
things.
above.
Yeah, they're above us. They're elitists. They're
Right.
We're the rulers. You're the peasants. Do as we say. Give us all your money.
All right.
The bourgeoisie.
Because we know how to spend it better than you. You're too stupid to know how to spend it.
Yeah. And that's what gets me though, is like when like people say like we're the freest country in this world.
We are.
And it's like we are, but we're not. We're not necessarily free. Like not really.
We are.
No, not really. Don't pay your taxes. What happens?
Well, don't pay your taxes in other countries. What happens?
I mean,
Is
their
that
system,
a
their
lot?
system's not as.
Is it?
But that's
Sometimes.
but that's the thing, is we are supposed to be a free country. If you don't pay your taxes, you're going to
free
jail.
to not pay your bills. You kind of
well,
have a
right,
burden.
But
on
what
society,
I'm getting
so-
at is most people, if you say, hey, what are you paying taxes? They'll be like, oh, I'll pay about 30%. No,
Wrong.
that is wrong in
About
so many different
70%.
levels. Yeah, about 60 to 70% of what you make is gone when it comes to you pay your federal, your state, your city, all that. You know what I mean?
Don't
Yeah,
pay
that's
your
about
county.
your
This is your income taxes.
there's that.
Yeah.
And then there's sales tax, and then
Fuel
all that,
tax.
fuel tax, all them taxes. When it all comes down to it, you
Air
spend
tax. Are we
about
there yet?
60 to 70.
Are
We're
we
getting
in
there.
tax yet?
They do it to
Getting
corporations.
close.
Like Toyota just announced.
I heard it's coming.
Toyota
We're
just
almost at
announced
methane
that
tax.
Toyota just announced that they would rather pay the credits, the carbon credit,
Right.
than to make the electric cars. They don't want the electric cars.
Right. Well,
They'll make hybrids. You know what I mean?
make
Which
more
hybrids?
money.
Hybrids to me make sense. You know
Bro,
what I mean?
Right.
Some of these hybrids are nuts, man. 60 miles to the gallon.
Yeah. That to
If-
me, like it's like that makes sense because you have a backup system.
Right.
If only they
It doesn't-
didn't look so stupid. Dude.
Right. And
I
I
know,
wish they'd make them
but
look a
yeah,
little nicer.
Just makes them look good.
But you know,
Buy
when
it.
you're getting
Me and my
60
brother had a conversation about that, about the Teslas and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, why don't you just like put a 1968 Camaro frame
Right.
body
on a
there.
Tesla
Yeah,
body,
right, yeah.
like
Yeah.
that, like, or a Chevy truck or whatever. I like Chevy,
Right.
you know
can
what I
make
mean?
it look however you want. Let's go
Right.
beast, man.
It's just
right.
like- it's
but
just-
instead they look like what we call the Tesla Beetleback snow roach.
Yeah.
It-
Beetleback Snow Roach.
Because
Look,
they're usually white and
Make that front end
they're ugly.
forever long
Right.
for fun.
Yeah,
Dude, you don't need anything in there
We-
but for
yeah.
fun.
that's extra storage.
I
Yeah.
mean, look, if they
Put a
quit,
bed in there.
if they quit making them so goofy looking and actually put a little aerodynamics into it, they might get 70 miles the gallon out of
Yeah.
them. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
honestly, go goofier.
well,
I want to see it nuts. I want everybody to just
hey, you know,
I want crazy cars.
I
on
saw
the road.
something once a long time ago. They tested why, you know how golf balls had little dimples in it? And they tested why that is.
Mhm.
Well, it's because of the aerodynamics. It actually will go farther. So some people took a car and model clayed the whole outside of the car and then put the dimples in there as if it was a golf ball. And you know what got better gas mileage? By a lot.
Probably look goofy as hell though.
Like,
It
how
looked
much?
weird, but-
How much?
I want to say it was 40+%.
What?
Oh,
Higher.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
No.
Still looks ridiculous though.
And the
Yes.
modeling clay was heavy. If they had used like lightweight plastic,
Yeah.
it would have been even better.
Still.
You know what I mean?
I just want to read this.
ridiculous.
Take us back to taxes
Yeah,
That's fair.
because
Kind of
I-
got off topic.
I
I've
don't like your
always
taxes.
thought this was interesting. And it says, what type of taxes are forbidden by the Constitution. All right.
Uh-oh.
And
Wait, did you
the
say
High
by the
Court ruled on this, which Supreme Court, which was a 5-4 ruling. The High Court decided that the income tax was forbidden by Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then that must have been
That prohibits direct taxes on individuals unless apportioned on the basis of the population of each state. So it is forbidden for an income tax. Yet here we are.
Yeah.
well, but they must have gotten that amended at some
No, dude,
point.
they don't care what's forbidden. There is no law that says
Well-
I have to pay income tax.
Well, income tax was supposed to be, for one, it was supposed to be a temporary thing.
Temporary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it was
then all
to
of a
pay
sudden
the
it
war.
turned into no, we're
Well-
going to keep that because we see all this money, and then we'll spend. The biggest problem with our government when it comes to the income tax, I don't mind being taxed because we need infrastructure. We have infrastructure, all that.
Right.
But we are way overtaxed.
Right.
And they spend our money like it's not even theirs. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like it's like, okay, here's this bill. Yeah, just pay it. I don't care what
Just
it
pay it,
costs. Like
right.
that's the biggest thing with our government is they will pay the highest amount. You come with them, they give you a project, you go with them with the highest amount that you want to, and usually they'll just pay it. And it's like
Right.
because they don't care.
Well, yeah, but they're
and-
also taking that
Because it's not their money.
and they do that all the time, and it just
Right.
came
But
out
you think
that
like
they do for
again, with like you said it earlier about putting yourself on a budget, they should be budgeting that and being like, okay, if I'm going to hire this company to build this building or build this highway or whatever they're doing,
Yeah.
you think they would be like, okay, what did you charge the last customer? Now, and let's make this fair. Instead, they're like, they're going to charge you 1,000% over what we charge
Well-
anybody else, and you're just going to pay it because you're the government,
I've told you
because it's not their money, and then they just sign the check.
I
mean,
told
it-
you the joke about that. I mean, I won't go through the whole joke, but the ending thing is the third contractor says, "Hey, we'll hire the first guy, and then you get 1,000 and I get 1,000." You know what I mean? So they're
Yeah.
overspending. You know what I mean?
They-
Everybody's
yeah.
lining their pockets instead of
Yeah, and they've been doing
just
that.
getting the job done
and they've
of
been
whatever
doing-
they need to spend.
And they've been doing that for years, man. And
Yeah.
it is the game is up, the jig's up. They need to stop.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Like,
you know
It's getting to a
but it's
point
like-
where
it's
they're
like-
giving all these migrants all this money,
Right.
and the American people can't even afford the grocery store to go to the grocery store
Right.
anymore.
Right.
Like I mean, some of us can, some of us
Right.
can't.
So
But it's
Well,
getting
but it's
way
like-
more expensive to
it's
even
like
go to the
Greg
grocery
said,
store,
though.
but they're giving all of our money to
Well,
these
if
migrants. That
there's-
doesn't make any sense, dude.
the problem with taxes is I get paid, they tax me.
Mhm.
Okay. I go to the store, they tax me. I
Right.
get gas,
You
I get taxed.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Pay your water bill, you get taxed. You pay your electric bill, you get
you,
taxed. You
every,
pay your
I
yeah.
am taxed every time I turn around.
Every time you spend
what I
any
mean?
money in any
So,
way, you're taxed.
Everything I buy, I'm taxed. At the end of the year, I have to pay tax on it again. I have to pay tax on taxed money.
Yeah.
It never ends. It's tax, 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 tax.
I'm only laughing because if I don't
Tax
laugh, I'm
on
going
the
to cry.
gains.
It's,
I mean, I'm
it's the
just-
weirdest thing though. Like
I
when,
wanna-
the way it works at taxes. Here's the way I look at it. Like you go do the hard work, you do it, and then your boss gives you $100 bill. Here you go,
Yeah.
good job. And then the government comes along and takes 80 of it,
Right.
and you're like, where'd all my money
Like,
go?
hey.
Like what, I did the work. Like I wouldn't mind giving you 20,
Yep.
but you shouldn't take 80 and leave me with 20. Like that, I did the
Right.
whole hard work. And that's why I say when people say that we are the freest country in the world, when you actually boil it down, we are not. We are corporate slaves. Or
Well-
not, we are slaves to our government
Um,
because they take
well,
they take the majority
I would
of our
say-
money.
we're
I
in
would
debt.
say slaves. I would say indentured servants.
We're in debt.
Yeah, we're indentured
All right,
servants.
because
We don't have to be though.
I don't have
You're
to
right.
work, and the
But-
government will give me my money. 'Cause I
Okay,
do
well
work.
then yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they say, "Hey, Greg, you go to work. You work hard. You want nice things, right? We're going to tax every nice thing you have. You know,
Right.
you want to buy a car that's nice. We're
I'm
going
gonna
to
tax it.
We're
Yeah.
going to tax it every year, and then for you to drive it on the streets that I paid for with
We're,
my
we're going to
tax,
tax you.
we're
for
gonna
that.
tax you.
Right.
and my
Mhm.
streets are going to be crap because we're not going to actually use the money that we tax you for the streets or the streets.
You're right.
We're going to give it to
I'll try to help you.
Jim Bob and Sally
Right.
and
Sally, who's now
Mantuka, who just
Right.
Just
Just
cross the
cross
border.
country,
Give
Right.
him
Hey, they-
$10,000.
They say the
cars.
best retirement plan for an American citizen right now is to give up your citizenship,
Go to
go
Mexico.
go to Mexico, come back as a migrant, and you set for life.
Yep. I mean, it is.
You don't have to work. You get tens of thousands of dollars a month or whatever. I don't know if it's that much, but it's a lot.
So our government doesn't represent us anymore
Right.
at all.
Yeah,
Zero.
we're right back to taxation without representation.
Yep.
And
Well,
it makes no
and
sense.
It's like Greg said, though. I mean, if if they didn't amend the Constitution or make a law says, hey, now you have to pay income tax, and they're doing it because they don't care, but we're not stopping it. Aren't we just as guilty? I mean, we're not
Right.
Have you done anything? I haven't done anything about it. We grow up and your parents go, hey, you got to sit down once a year and fill out all this paperwork and give the government your money or else. And it's like, or else
and
what?
What's prison?
They
Exactly.
created Article 16 in 1913,
What'd they get Al Capone on?
which
Tax
tax
evasion.
evasion.
Yeah.
which-
Yeah, they couldn't get him on anything else, murder, any of that.
Yeah.
They got us. They sent him away for a long
Article
time.
16 in 1913, just a little over 100 years ago,
Mhm.
is what allowed the government to levy income taxes on the people.
Right.
It's gotten out of control.
Well,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
because
I mean,
it needs to
it's what,
stop.
like he said too. It's one of those great things that started as a temporary thing. Hey, we need, things have gone wrong. We need some help. Fine, I'm okay with that. But then it never stopped, and it just kept
Yeah.
growing. It's like the little rock going down the snowy mountain, and it's by the time it gets to the bottom, it's an avalanche.
Because if I take a couple of pennies from you here, a couple of pennies from you there,
Yeah,
by the time you
notice.
realize you
Right.
run out of all your money because I've been taking pennies from you everywhere
Yeah.
you go, you know
Right.
it's too late.
Before you know it, they've got
And then
all your
they're just
pennies.
slowly grabbing
Right.
more and more and more, and you're just like, okay, I mean, whatever. What is it? 2 cents now,
Right.
and then now
It's
it's
just 10
now it's
cents.
oh,
It's
where
just-
did all my money go?
Yeah,
All right.
right.
What Scott said is like none of us have done anything. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
what do you do if you're the only person standing in that field? It's just like the trucking industry. Every time we try to get something done in the trucking industry, you have all these scabs that just not. I gotta continue. Like if you would just hold out for
Immigrants.
1 week, if the truck drivers, if we held out for 1 week, it wouldn't even last a week. Within a day or two, the
Oh, yeah.
government or whoever
Full.
whatever we're trying to change,
Yes,
they would bend that knee within a 48-hour period.
You definitely get
Because
their
if
attention.
not,
Yeah.
I mean, these stores, if you look at everybody thinks that Walmart and all these other places, all these grocery stores and all that, they have weeks worth of food and they have 1 day,
Yep.
yeah.
1 day's worth of
Yeah.
food in there, and it is gone that quick.
Yeah.
It is over.
What
People would, I'm sorry to say this, but people would probably start like they would flip out, they would riot because they would be afraid to starve.
What hurts me about doing that is I'm hurting the innocent people.
Right, we're hurting-
No, I
everybody
get
else.
People
that.
like us.
I get that, but I'm saying like when the truck drivers really need to get something done,
Mhm.
we could, because we are the lifeline of this country. We are the ones that pump the blood through the veins.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we are the ones shipping everything you buy in any store, your gas, everything comes from a truck.
Everything.
And it should be the easiest industry
Hmm.
to grab a hold of and say, you are not going to do this because we will stop everything right now. But all these trucks, nope, I got to keep moving. It's like, if you would just, for a couple days, park that truck,
Yeah.
everything would get better. What you want,
you would definitely get their
because you
attention.
might go out here when say 0.25% of the truck drivers stop,
Mm.
you might get those higher rates. But
Right.
when everybody comes back to work, you're back to pennies.
If you think the shutdown of the country was bad, where the toilet paper was gone and everything was gone was
Yeah.
bad,
We were still rolling. We were
Yeah.
we were given permission
to roll more.
to roll more. We
Yeah.
had no regulations at
Yeah.
that point. We
They
had no clock. We
deregulated
could
us.
move that clock. We never had to take a break.
Yeah.
We didn't have our 72 or
It
our
was-
34-hour break anymore. We were
It
rolling.
was stupid to lock down the country, but it was great for us.
Oh,
There
it was.
no-
There was no traffic.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
flying. It was. We had full
Very
control of those
lucrative.
highways.
Yeah.
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 It was a nice time,
But-
even though it was a horrific time.
It
It was a
was.
nice time for us
It was,
because we were
yeah.
just rolling.
We
I-
rolled out.
I think that the biggest problem though is that they actually are actively trying to hurt every single
Oh,
person
you know,
in
right.
this society. And I want to bring this up real quick
Go ahead.
Go for
because
it.
Biden did mention this in his speech, which I thought was nuts. I mean, there's
You can
conspiracies
understand
out
what he
there.
says.
Yeah.
Well, this was the only clear part he
speaks
said.
Biden.
This was the only
Madagascar.
clear one.
Yeah.
He was talking. He was talking about the
Almost
wildfires,
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
wildfires that are
Yeah.
ravaging Texas, right? He's saying he was flying over and he was looking, and all these houses were destroyed except for that one
Yeah, like
house
this
one
with the correct roof.
Oh,
was his
I-
words that he
okay.
said.
If anybody is curious, that color is blue.
Right, but look, no, not conspiracy. All the conspiracy theories out there were saying
Is there a
that.
rabbit in there?
Look, everybody, all these conspiracy theories were saying that that
Where'd
the
it go?
government was taking that laser and knocking it down on things, and it's a blue roof that it doesn't
I
burn
believe
through,
that.
and
Or
stuff.
blue car.
Look,
or,
Whether you believe it or
whether
not.
you believe it
yeah.
or not. But then the president came out and said it.
Right.
He did.
He
You're
said-
right. He said
he
it.
said-
didn't
Wait,
he?
what?
That
In like
was called-
the first 2 minutes, go and watch. First
Yeah.
2 minutes, dude.
Yeah.
I did see that on a
Yeah.
on a YouTube short that he
Yeah,
said
he
that, and I
said-
was like,
You
wait,
look
I thought it
down
was a conspiracy theory.
at the
And
devastation.
then
Yeah.
it comes out of his mouth. It's like,
Right.
you're the
He's like-
president, and you just confirmed it.
It's like
Yeah.
you look down and you'll see 20 houses just burnt to the ground.
But those ones with the right
But
roof on
then
them.
you see the one still standing because it had the right roof.
Right.
What does that mean, Biden?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What are you trying to tell us?
Yeah.
Invest in the color.
How much?
blue.
How much do I have to pay
Oh,
for it?
right.
Do I have to just paint it, or is it a special shingle that's blue?
My roof painters are here.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Blue.
Did you
we
call
need
them?
it blue.
Yeah.
Make sure it's blue.
Sky blue,
Yeah.
deep dark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
I'm gonna go out and get a blue umbrella to prevent getting that horrible sunburn.
That
Yeah.
was
I'm
a
just
weird thing
saying.
too. Like I mean, again,
Yeah.
it says it's a conspiracy theory, but you look at Hawaii, what happened to Maui.
Yep. It explains the
And-
Blue Man
and-
Group.
There was a
We're all going to be that soon.
We're all
gonna be
painting ourselves blue.
We know something
look.
you
What
don't
I'm
know.
saying is that like
We're all bald,
got-
looking with creepy expressions
you
everywhere.
got all those cars were burnt to a
Yeah.
crisp, and you had the blue one,
The blue one.
not touched.
Not
You had all the blue umbrellas,
Yeah.
not touched. For
Not
some reason, it's
touched.
like
Yep.
I don't care conspiracy theory or not. That's weird.
All the
you
blue
know what I mean?
roof houses. Not
Yeah,
touched.
the blue. Yeah, they weren't burnt. And Oprah and them, all their roofs were blue, and they just did that not too long
The
ago.
fire jumped.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
An 8-lane
Thank you.
highway. All right. A highway with concrete walls jumped
Right.
towards the ocean. Okay. I jumped over the whole highway and burnt stuff on the other side, which was much closer to the ocean. I'm sure everybody here has been to the beach at least once in their life.
Oh yeah.
The wind blows in,
In-
from the
In
ocean.
from the
Yes,
ocean.
it doesn't
not
actually
out.
blow out.
It doesn't blow out from the ocean, it blows in. So, just that being said, fire should not go towards the wind, it'll go with the wind.
Yeah.
But even
So,
then,
Huh?
8-lane highway.
Oh, yeah, I might not be 8-lane, it might have been 2 on each side, but 4-lane highway.
Nonetheless,
No
my
fires
man.
jumping that.
No.
That'll stop that fire dead in its
Dead in
tracks.
its track, right.
I don't know if it would or wouldn't. I mean, I'm sure debris and stuff could
Towards
get it,
the
but,
ocean?
but what I'm saying, if the wind is blowing the other way, that can't.
Right.
But,
Yeah,
but nonetheless,
it can't jump.
every time these type of things happen, what do? They do things called controlled burns, which stop the fire.
Right. They
Mhm.
make
Right?
a fire
And they never
line.
But I
tried.
have not even heard of one tried controlled burn. I've not heard of anything
Right.
whatsoever. When I look at the pictures, I don't even really see a whole lot of burnness.
No,
I just
the
see the
trees
houses
there.
are.
Well, they did
freaking
some really
destroyed.
weird stuff on that one too, man. They turned around and they you couldn't fly your drones around
No, they
any
put
of
a
the.
fence up.
They put a fence up. You weren't allowed to investigate it. You if you caught
They didn't want
trying to
you-
fly
they
a
didn't want
drone
you to
over the
see it,
area,
yeah.
they would shut it down. Like
Yeah.
no, give it back, and they would take your SD
When-
card.
Freedom dies in the darkness. Democracy dies in darkness. And right now, our government is the darkest it's ever been.
But that's
and
the hard.
we are the government. The people
Yeah.
are.
See, but that's the hardest part nowadays. Is I think our government is starting to realize they have made a very big error
Yeah.
because nowadays you can't hide nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like nobody can hide anything. I mean, they made a very bad like their whole thing of the cameras everywhere
Mhm.
has actually backfired on them.
Oh,
you
dude,
know what I mean?
Absolutely. But you know who really can't hide anything?
We can't.
Biden.
Oh,
Biden can't hide anything. He just says what he really feels out
Oh,
loud.
right.
yeah.
And it's funny because he definitely can't hide the one thing that just came out. What is it
Well,
this week?
yeah.
Tell the truth. He's
Didn't
What?
Hunter
too
Biden come out?
senile.
Oh yeah,
It's
the
too-
Hunter
he's
Biden.
too-
Oh
thing.
yeah, that's really what's wrong with America right now is corruption.
Listen, big
The
guy.
big guy. Yes,
Listen,
the big
big
guy.
guy.
The big
You know what
guy.
I'm sorry, but the enemy of the world right now is not Putin.
No.
It is Biden. It is this world cabal right now, and it's clear that there
Uh-huh.
is a
Absolutely.
world cabal, and I would put my finger right towards the WEF, the World Economic Forum. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
these
Well-
are world leaders
And
and extremely wealthy people
Right.
who want
calling
to
the
control
shots. Yeah.
the world.
Well, and it goes farther. You guys heard about the story about the the investigative journalist that's being ordered by the FBI to show up
They arrested him yesterday.
so that they claimed though, if you read the
They
story,
arrested
they,
him and the other guy.
Yeah.
they weren't
Steve
supposed
and-
to. They swore they weren't going to arrest him. They wanted to. I don't know what they wanted.
He was supposed to go to court at 10 o'clock that day,
Right.
and the FBI made him turn himself in at 7 o'clock in shorts and like flip flops.
Yeah.
Because and he
Or
was like, I know what's
sandals
about to
or
happen.
attire,
He
yeah.
said, I know what's about to happen. They're gonna put me in cuffs. They're gonna put me in orange, and they're going to embarrass me. You know what I mean? And he was on Tim Pool the other day
But the
talking
thing
about
is,
it. He knew what they were doing to him.
I like Tim Pool.
I do too.
They put this poor guy out there as a J6er, which don't get me wrong.
He was a
I don't think the
reporter.
J6ers did anything wrong either, but he was literally just documenting.
Did you hear the helicopter?
Oh shit.
Helicopter.
No, I'm talking about because he said the J6ers did nothing wrong. It's like, did you hear that helicopter?
There's some
They're coming to
SUVs
get us.
pulling up. No,
The worst thing that they did.
They're the white
Was
ones still.
trespassing.
We're in trouble.
That's it.
well, right, but
That's the worst thing.
but this guy
What-
didn't even
what
do
is that?
that.
We are the government. How did they trespass?
Well, I know, but
That's
if
our
you
freaking
want to say,
congressional
if you
building.
want
Yeah,
to,
we own
if
that.
We
you,
own all of that.
But here's the
if you
problem.
want to say trespassing, that would be the only crime. What is the actual sentence for trespassing?
No sentence.
Like,
it's a
it's like a
minor
fine.
Right? Isn't it
yeah,
like
it's a
isn't it like a
misdemeanor.
$30 fine or something?
They labeled these people
But the point-
terrorists.
Yeah.
So basically,
The point is, this guy didn't even do that. He documented
Yeah.
what he saw and put it out to the world.
everybody that lives,
and so now they're going to put him in jail and punish him
everybody
for.
that lives in the White House, and everybody that lives or works in the congressional building are our servants.
Yeah,
They're
Yeah.
not above us. When
That's
the
the
people
part that
go
wants
to
to
the
break
Capitol,
away.
Yeah.
that's
They want
our
Russia's help.
capital. We are the
But it's-
government. The people is the government.
I was just like, what?
Stop looking at porn.
It's
We're
not
not
trying to do
porn.
a show.
Yeah.
No,
Come
look,
on
I'm
now.
looking at this because when you
There's a
said
time
that,
and
when you
place
said
for these
rootin' tootin'
things.
Putin, I was
Yeah,
just, it
it's
reminded me of Moldova. That a piece of it is breaking off, and they're asking for Russia's help and
Problem is they're on
protection,
the whole other
but they're on the
side
other side of
country.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I just seen it was like I thought it like would be over here by Russia,
Yeah.
but
Like
it's
right
all the
next
way
to
on the other
them,
side of
Yeah,
Ukraine.
They're like, Russia, we want you to spearhead right through and just give us some protection here.
Help us out.
It is
It just messed me up because
Please save us.
This-
please save us, help
World
us.
Economic Forum, and these elitists are marching us straight towards World War III.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what they want.
I believe
But
it because they like Russia was just saying like they're threatening nuclear war.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
we are going to open up the
I mean,
floodgates.
what else did we learn just recently? That the CIA had 12 bases in Ukraine, and they were provoking Russia.
The FBI,
Right,
and
yeah,
the CIA.
Yeah, the CIA. The
I thought you
CIA.
said FBI. Sorry.
No, the CIA was provoking Russia.
FBI's covering it up.
Yeah,
but it's the
yeah,
CIA
I
doing
mean,
it.
So it is. I love America. I grew up here, obviously. You know what I mean?
No, he didn't.
No, you didn't.
he's the
Communist.
border jumper.
Mother Russia. You are going to be sorry. No,
That's why you love
It
vodka.
is.
Now I understand.
Yes.
Everything makes sense now.
I'd come here, drive a truck, and make big money. Send back to Mother Russia.
I get the feeling we're gonna get in trouble for this somehow.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
No, I love this country. This is not the country I grew up in
No,
at all. When I was a kid, you didn't have to lock your doors. You could leave your keys in the truck
Oh,
or car. I mean, you could pretty much do whatever you want. My mom would be like, "Don't you want to go out and play? Come back when the streetlights are on." Nobody worried about me
getting kidnapped.
get
or-
kidnapped.
yeah.
You know, they taught us right. A van pulled up
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, kid, you want some candy?" I'm like, "Show me the candy first. I'm not stupid." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to see this candy you're talking about. But
There
I
ain't
mean,
no
Candy.
puppy in that van, you liar.
Candy first. No.
yeah, candy.
What is
first.
that? A payday? Who wants that?
That's
man?
not a
Come on.
lollipop. No.
One time there was a whole truckload of young women that pulled up, and they're like, "Hey, you want some candy?" I'm like, "Absolutely, I do. Let's go." You know what I mean? But then they
How many
dropped
licks
me
does it
off.
take to get to the center? That's what I'm trying to figure.
All right. Well, this is not an X-rated show. Let's bring it back on the rails.
And, I don't even remember what those rails are. Where we going? Albuquerque.
Yeah.
But
Take a left.
so there's this active force trying to destroy this country because this country was the greatest country in the world.
You're right.
I mean, where your neighbor could be anybody they wanted to be, and nobody cared.
Right.
You know
He'd
what
still
I'm
go over there and
saying?
help him when he needed help.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember being a kid before the internet destroyed society, and it has destroyed society. We would have block parties
Mhm.
where the police would come and put barricades up. All the neighbors would wheel their grill down on the street,
Yeah.
and you would just run around eating different people's food.
Yeah.
They didn't care. They'd be like, "Hey, kid, you want a hot dog?"
Yeah.
Yep. Have
And
you
you
tried
didn't
my
have to
food
worry
yet?
about arsenic in it or them
No.
poison me
Right.
or anything. Everybody talked to each other. Everybody
Mhm.
was a community. The
Right.
community
Everybody knew one another.
made sure the community was safe. They,
Right.
you know, I mean, they watched out. They, if you got in trouble down the street, the neighbor came out and beat you,
Right.
drug you
Yeah.
home to your dad, and told him what you did, and
And
then
you
he
got your
beat you,
then you got
and
beat
then
by your dad.
embarrassed your dad, so he took you in and beat you harder.
Right.
Everybody just
And-
beat all the children. All the
and-
children are good.
And before we get hate mail on that, it was good for us.
It was.
It was very good for
It
us.
was.
I needed more beatings.
Yeah.
We couldn't forget you
My
with
dad
no
just wasn't
children.
there. He just.
Oh, that's,
And
I'm
then
sorry.
out
Oh, I don't care.
kids on the street.
We can beat you if you like.
Kids on the
Do you have a whip?
It's going back to
Oh, sorry. Let's go back on the rails. Back on the rails.
kids were kids. I mean, at school, if you had a disagreement with someone, you fought.
Hmm.
The teachers, eventually pulled you off. No one got suspended, expelled.
They made
You had
sure
a
you didn't kill
disagreement.
one another or permanently
Yeah,
damage
yeah.
one another.
And
right.
usually after that fight was over, like that,
You were
you,
friends.
yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah.
you usually became one of your best friends.
Yeah.
Like, well, you know,
or at
that-
the very
that happened.
least,
Both
you
hated
left
that
each
girl.
other
Mutual
alone,
respect.
You know? Yeah,
Right.
mutual respect.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
had I mean, that is the world is not a lollipop that cares about your feelings and
The hell
cares
you
what
say.
pronouns you have. The world is a cutthroat place.
Mhm.
Everybody is out there trying to get their own. You know what I mean?
Right.
Their own
It's-
little slice of America.
Yeah, I'm not saying people are bad,
No.
but you have to worry. The Bible, the charity starts at home.
Right.
You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of anybody
Right.
else.
Exactly.
I'm not saying the person at work is your enemy or the person down the road is your enemy, but it's not like, oh, there's
Unless
a
they voted for
promotion.
Biden.
I'm going to give it to you, Chris, because I want you to have the promotion because it's more money and better.
Yeah,
And a
you
better
need it
time
more than I
home.
do. Like, no,
Right? No, I want more money and more time home. I mean,
Right.
so we're going to compete for that. Doesn't mean we're not friends. It means we're competing
Right.
for
Right.
for a position.
Well, and in the old days, Chris being your friend, he would congratulate you for
Right, and
getting
I
that
would, if
promotion,
he got it,
you
I
know,
would
or vice
congratulate
versa.
him. And as
Right.
soon as he walked up, I'm like, son.
that
Let's still
dirty
be
rotten
friends,
so
you know
and
what I
so.
mean? We'd still be friends at the end of it.
Yeah.
But now everybody thinks everybody has to care about their plight, their feelings, their
They're the most important
yes,
thing.
they are the
out there,
most
right.
important thing on this planet, and that's not the way this planet works.
Right.
That's not the way this country works.
Well, the government did it to us all, though.
Yep. They
I
want,
mean, if you ask me, I mean, that was the whole. Everybody should feel special. You should feel a part of these special classes.
Yep.
Make sure you identify as a certain way,
Yep.
no matter where you go. Republican, Democrat, white, black, Asian,
the
gay, straight,
They
trans.
yeah, trans. It's ma'am.
One of
You
the
know what I mean? Like,
164 genders.
Yeah, I'm non-binary. No, you're just retarded.
I don't even know what that means.
just a theory, but they kind of did.
I'm sorry, not retarded.
They kind of
Steve.
did pit us against each other with
I like the way you called me, Mike.
maybe. Oh, thank you.
Calm
I
down.
was holding
Is
it
it
very
start
nicely.
sliding your hand up and down on it?
We're
No,
going back
but,
to the X-rated thing. Come on,
no,
back over
I
here
think-
on these rails.
I think they pitted us against each other when they introduced Facebook to the world. And I mean, think about it. They basically
Well, they've been doing it
created-
for years before
Well,
that, but
yes,
it,
but they
it was a
created
step up.
this
But you talk about Tom
system
that way. He was
where
my friend.
people
Tom was
now
everybody's friend.
have they created
He's-
this system where people now have to one up each other because they're always looking at everybody else's life. Oh, why is their life so much better?
No.
I
Yeah.
gotta be better.
They don't want to one up each other. They want to take from you so you're equal.
right.
Mm.
Well, no. I'm not talking about the
No,
government.
he's talking
I'm
about with
I'm
Facebook,
talking about
Instagram,
everybody's
all that.
fighting over each other
It-
now
like-
because everybody's fighting in contention
'cause
with
they-
all these
Right. What he's
fake
saying is
people-
like,
lives.
you
They,
know, if,
they see every picture that your neighbor takes. They're always smiling. Why are they always smiling? Why
Oh,
am I not always smiling? It's like
Yes.
they're not. They take
Yeah.
that picture, then they're like, I'm miserable.
Yeah.
right.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? They hate
everyone's the
their lives
same.
too.
Yeah.
But now everybody's like against each other in this weird pseudo game stuff.
Well, right.
You
Because
know?
look,
Yeah.
if you're on Facebook and I see you and your family going to Florida, I'm like,
Mhm.
well, I got to go to the Bahamas then. I mean, right?
You
Isn't
mean
that how it
keeping up with the
works?
Joneses
Right.
and better than the
Yeah.
Joneses.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I know I'm better than them. You know what I mean? I just know it. No, I'm just joking. It is,
he believes they ain't
Stop
got.
it.
He said they ain't
They
got
are
nothing on
trying.
me.
and they have convinced a large section of the United States that socialism is good.
Yeah.
And that scares me to death.
It should.
And the
it
way I
scares me
see that is I learned a way, and I told you this guy's on the phone the other day, of what socialism is just a stepping stone to communism.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah, it
want you
always
to
is.
imagine socialism like this. All right. you have a little plot of land. I mean, out in the country, and your neighbor's got a plot of land. He has 2 cows, and you don't have one.
Right.
You know what I mean? In capitalism, he has his 2 cows, and you need milk. You go buy some milk off the man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But socialism, the government comes in and says, he has 2 cows. We notice you have no cows, so we're going to take one of his cows and give it to you.
Right.
Now you're equal. Okay. Well, that doesn't work because now the guy's like, that's my cow. You know what I mean? I raised this cow. It gave birth to this cow.
Right.
I have 2 cows. So he gets mad and he's like, this isn't fair. And
So-
the government's like, right.
Yeah. Now
This
we're going to
isn't
move into
fair.
communism.
Yeah. We're going to take this to
We're going to take both
communism
cows.
and we're going to take the cows and we're going to both give you milk.
Yeah.
I want you to look at your roads and your infrastructure and then just imagine if you were reliant on the government to give you milk.
Right.
Do you think there would be any milk?
No, I mean,
No.
look at any government.
Especially
look,
not when they're burning all the cattle
look,
fields.
look at any,
Right. Exactly.
look at any government
Pretty good
ran
beef.
program in this country. If you look at any government, fuck you up. Look, if you look at this country and you look
I'm
at any
closer.
government program, they all fail at one way or another. You know what I mean? They're all
Eventually,
trash.
right.
You know what I mean? They don't do anything right because they're spending your money, not their own.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that doesn't work. You don't want the government
We're-
taking everything and then want them to ration everything out to you because you'll just never get your food.
Right.
Well,
You
what
can't trust the government in
other
general.
socialism?
Look at what the AG in New York City just did, or is
Letitia
trying to do.
James?
Yeah, Letitia Jones. Now she
James.
wants to sue
The-
the biggest meat place.
Cattle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Beef.
for
producer.
cow farts.
Yeah. Saying that they're not doing enough to, against climate change.
Yeah.
Oh, and this breaking news, Cheez-It's about to introduce a new flavor, which wouldn't
Really?
happen under communism and socialism
All right. Nobody would invent that.
because
What's the flavor?
I have no idea. I didn't read the article. I just wanted you to know that there's a new Cheez-It flavor. It's probably going to be
Breaking news.
hot.
We're
Um,
we're way off the rails.
okay.
I'm
Like,
really excited about the Cheez-It flavor.
I am too. I love Cheez-Its.
I do too.
They're crunchy and delicious.
And it's based in Ohio, isn't it?
why-
Actually, a little backstory on Cheez-Its. They were created in Dayton, Ohio, and they were created by a doctor during a time in America where everybody was getting sick from malnutrition because just the food supply. So this doctor created Cheez-Its to give to people in the hospital as a cheap,
snack.
nutritious food.
Right.
So
And then it just became a thing. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, that's just a little fun fact for you all.
Right.
That's
But-
your great Google fact of the day.
Yes. Fun fact number 136.
He's got millions.
I
He
do.
never stops.
I do. The NFL was basically started in Dayton,
Oh, for
Ohio
the
with
love.
the Dayton
Would you-
Triangle. So now we're
okay,
going to move
well-
on, which are now the Indianapolis Colts. If you follow their lineage.
Leave my Colts alone. Okay, go ahead.
Who
Go ahead,
did?
So
go
does the NFL.
Okay,
You
so
dirty bastard.
under socialism, there's no need. No one wants to strive. Why would I come home and put time into inventing something or trying to create something to benefit me financially,
Right.
or if I just want to be famous? Because if I do, the government comes in and says, well, that's ours now.
For the good of your neighbors.
We collect
Mhm.
we collect the revenue. We'll decide how it's produced, how much it costs and who gets it. Once again, just like the milk, they're not going to produce it well. They're not,
Right.
you know what I mean?
But Greg, it's for the good of society, man. Just do it, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
Quit
gonna
being
say-
stingy.
Look,
Stop
If,
being
if
such
socialism comes to this
a
country,
greedy individual.
guess
man.
who's not working anymore?
Me.
Me.
Yeah,
I ain't
Me.
going to
right.
work.
You know what I'm saying?
Instant. I'm
Because
not driving a truck no more.
Right
Not if
now-
everybody else gets stuff for free. Why would I go
I'm
to
sitting
work?
on my
in
butt.
America, you have 130
Smoke a
million
little
people.
bit of weed
okay?
and watch cartoons. No.
130 million people is basically what the workforce is right now. So you got 130 million people
Right.
all pulling this cart along. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Yeah.
every day more people are jumping in that
Jumping in
cart.
the
I mean,
cart,
130 million, 200 or 350 million people in this country, and 130 of them million are working.
Right.
So we're pulling more people than that are working. It's like, oh, it's getting heavy. Eventually, you just like, screw this. I'm jumping in the car with the rest
Yeah,
of
eventually we're going to
to
balance out that load because the
Yeah, I mean,
tandems are on the wrong spot.
bounce into my tractor. You know what I'm saying? I got 200 million people back there just weighing me down. There, no scale will let me cross that. So
Right.
You ain't got no pull power.
over
Not going up that
time,
hill.
over time, people just jump off the work line and go jump in the car. They're like, I'm tired of supporting these people.
Right.
Well, eventually the government's like, well, we don't have any workers left. We can't afford to, pay benefits to all these people. So now they come out
Well,
and they force you to work.
Yeah.
But there's that, but there is also what they did to Trump. That's that same chick, Letitia. She's the same chick that went after Trump.
Right.
You know what I mean? In New York City.
Mhm.
Now they're going after the meat supplier.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like eventually all these corporations, I mean, who was the people from Shark Tank was like,
We're out.
don't
Yeah.
put anything in if you're a corporation, you're thinking about going to
Yeah.
New York City, don't go in
Yeah.
there because they're going to ruin your
Yeah.
company.
They're pulling all their
Shit.
stuff.
That doesn't look, it's the same thing I said Toyota said. We would rather pay the carbon credits than to mess with y'all's electric cars.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Mhm.
We'll stay with the hybrid. That's as far as we're going to go.
Right. But that makes sense. Hybrids make
Yes,
sense.
they
to me.
make sense. But I'm saying like now they're going after all these people and just either going to bankrupt them, take all their stuff. And it's like, why would you want to start a corporation even in America?
Right.
Mm.
They
Put it somewhere
Well,
else, and then where's our jobs
go
at?
deeper than that and think to yourself, okay, they that was a fraud trial. Saying
Yeah, but
that
now they're doing the
Trump
same thing to the
frauded
company.
people. Okay. If I say Scott created a product that he said was the most amazing product in the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it would
I
make my
promise.
skin look like I was an infant, you know what I mean? And I buy it and I turn out blue, you know what I mean? Yes, I'm protected from direct energy weapons, so that's
Right,
a plus. But I
right.
didn't want my skin blue, so I sue him for fraud.
But that's what they're doing to that
Okay.
meat company. They're saying that they lied about their
Right, but
green.
I mean,
They're green. They're saying
but-
that they're not accounting for the carbon tax
I
from the
was
cow
damaged.
farts.
I was
Dude, that make no
damaged.
sense.
I was damaged from Scott, right?
Stop
So I
them
sue
cows from
Scott
farting.
and I say, Scott, you frauded me on this product. My skin does not look like that of an infant. I look like a Smurf. You know what I mean? I've
But
been
you look
damaged.
beautiful.
I always look beautiful.
Papa
even with
Smurf,
grease
is
hair.
that you?
So I win. Well, I have the damages. He pays me the damages for
Mhm.
my skin being blue. Hopefully it goes back. There was no victims in this fraud case. So that money that they told Trump to pay, New York City gets that money.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they just extorted him.
and that's what I'm saying. They're
Yeah,
going to
for money.
The Shark Tank people were right. You know, I mean, I can't remember their names. The ones that did it was Mark Cuban and the other dude, Kevin.
Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kevin O'Leary. They're the ones telling it like stay out
Right.
because like that doesn't make any sense on how am I supposed to control my cow farting? And that's what it's I mean, and no, this is serious,
It's
dude. I'm being
so-
serious. It
I
sounds
know, but
stupid.
that is the
If
part.
you read the article, it
I
says the
read
the
article,
carbon
yeah.
gases from the cows is what they're
But-
saying
but-
that the company
Yeah.
lied about, and that's
Yeah.
what they're suing them for. And it's like,
Carbon is the gas of life.
yeah, if anybody doesn't understand, carbon
dioxide.
carbon dioxide turns
Carbon
into
dioxide.
what I say.
Carbon dioxide.
Yeah, it turns into the plant takes it in, it turns into oxygen,
Yeah.
which gives us that way
Life.
we can live.
Carbon dioxide is fertilizer.
We
It
can use
is
it for so many
literally
different things.
Well,
It's
Fertilizer.
And I-
it's supposed to be here. In all actuality, people say that it's not supposed to be to this certain height. And
Oh,
back in the day,
bull
it was
crap.
a lot higher.
Bull
They've shown graphs where it's like back
cow crap. I say cow crap.
a long time
Okay.
ago, it was a lot higher.
It was 1,000 times higher than it is today. I want you to think about this, how the government lies to you. Let's break this down. 20 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, oil, okay, was a fossil fuel. It was from the
That's what they
dinosaurs.
told you. Yeah.
It's not.
No,
we
it's
know
not.
that.
We
Now.
know that.
You know, okay, it is a natural substance that is created by plants with the right chemical compounds.
Right.
So
Under the
it's a
right
renewable
conditions.
energy.
Yeah.
Well, once we found that out, they're like, crap. You know what I mean? We can't extort these people to make.
Yeah,
them
we
think
can't charge
this
them
is
so
gonna
much
run
anymore
out
because
at
it's not
some
going to go
point.
away. Yeah.
So all of a sudden they switch to, oh, your gasoline is killing the planet. We've only been keeping weather data, this data for 100 years.
Right.
So you're going to take a billion-year-old planet and say, well, this 100-year data says this is where we're supposed to be. Well,
Yes.
what number are we supposed to be at?
Not
Well,
only
we
that-
don't know.
Not only that, but let's take it back to Toyota saying what they said.
Well, now Toyota's
Look, just to hear me out. Instead of making electric cars and doing everything else that they say everybody's supposed to do, they're like, "Now we'll just pay the fine."
yeah.
And they're
Well,
like, "Yeah, you can do that." And it's like,
Yeah.
so what if it's
It's
so
cheaper.
bad?
Oh, no.
Why can I
No,
pay
it's
it? Why
cheaper.
can I just
Bro,
pay a fine?
Every time I fart, I cash at Mother Nature $10.
Right. Well, I was
every
gonna
time
say,
because she's like, cool, no problem.
Yeah,
But we get-
as long as you pay.
It's
What
huge.
about your tax for the electricity that you're using? too?
Mine's not
You
so
should-
bad,
you
so I
should
pay
for
10
that.
10 cents.
10 cents?
Yeah, that's all I
they're
pay.
looking for
You're
it.
getting robbed,
So-
bro.
look,
No,
there's way,
I want to pay it forward.
but
Right,
there's way
right.
more. The point is, there's way more
What'd
humans
you
on the
say?
planet than there are cows, and I'm pretty sure last time I checked, we're all.
They
I
wanna
mean,
kill
Yeah, we all have
you,
So-
too.
flatulence.
all right.
So
Everybody wants to kill everything. They're just like they want to
Okay,
tax me for
let-
carbon
hold
credits.
on.
They want to kill me.
Let
they
me go-
want to. I mean,
Let
what?
me go
I
back.
don't know where to go.
Let me go back again and say, what are we doing about it? Why are we letting people, citizens get
Well,
locked
I-
up? Why,
we're-
unjustly locked
I
We're-
don't
up?
think
throwing
it's
money
time
at
for
it.
the citizens to do anything. I think what we need to do is put the right people back in power. That's going to say enough of this crap.
look, just-
Trump
look,
2024.
Right.
Is that what I just
Trump
heard?
2024.
Trump
Look, the
2024. But
forces are already in power. Just let the people who are doing this work. I mean, we got Trump,
Well,
we
we
got
do. We have-
Elon
I
Musk.
get it, but
Elon
look,
Musk, by the way, this it was just this week, right? He sued OpenAI, who is an
Chat.
AI firm that they
ChatGPT.
bankrolled, which was ChatGPT, and they made a deal with them that they were supposed to do what they were doing for the goodness of mankind as a nonprofit.
Yep.
Okay. Well, what they're saying is that because ChatGPT linked with Microsoft and that they're now going for profit, that they went against the original ideals of the company, and so he's now suing them for whatever amount of money they want to sue him for.
Get him, Elon Musk.
All
Yeah,
his
for real.
Right.
And he
money.
should, and he should,
But-
because if it was set up to be, I bankrolled your thing,
Yeah.
and we had an agreement that it would be nonprofit, and then you're like, no, actually, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna go with Microsoft over here, and I'm gonna turn the profit. I'm like, I'm going to sue you, and I'm gonna take everything you
Corruption.
have.
Maybe
Oh.
we see the loss of ChatGPT, and
Good.
that would be
I-
great.
I
for
don't
Good. I don't want
AI.
AI. Yeah, I was about to say,
Everyone.
I don't want
I mean,
AI.
AI will be the death
Look
of us as well.
Yes,
Look at Google's
absolutely.
It made everybody a minority. They're like,
Right.
here's Congress in 1776. And it's
That
all
was the
minorities.
best thing
It's
ever.
It's like it's not that at that time the things that were going on were right,
No.
but at the same time,
But what they
those people were not in that room.
all right. All right. This,
No.
not in the
I'm
picture.
not.
anyway.
It's not
They
funny.
were-
I'm just
what
saying,
is
like,
that?
it's funny that they did it because it's like that never existed.
Well, what it-
you can't make
No.
up history.
Okay, if-
History is history.
if you
It's,
read the
it-
founding
But if it had its
fathers,
choice, it would.
if you read the founding fathers' doctrines, they all hated slavery. Okay, they did not want slavery, and that's partly why they put a more perfect, continue to always work on a more perfect union.
Right.
None of them like slavery. I mean, how do you write, all men are created equal? You know what I'm saying? And then have slavery.
yeah, and then
But-
exclude a whole group. Yeah, that's not
What
right.
was it? The
It
1619
was a-
thing that the schools were trying to teach?
Yeah.
Was it or 1617, 1619? I have to tell you guys this, but the United States wasn't made in 1619. Slavery was a British institution.
Right.
well,
Okay, absolutely a British
slavery
institution.
was an institution around the world.
Slavery
was a
world
longer than that.
institution.
It
I'm
was an
saying at
Egyptian
this point,
institution.
Yeah,
I'm
unless
not
they-
talking about the Barbary Coast
Right.
or that. I'm saying African slavery was perpetrated by Britain.
Well,
Okay, so when the British landed here to colonize, they brought slaves with them. We were a British colony. We were not the United States of America until
originally.
1776.
Isn't most of Southern Africa mostly British?
by the way,
Yeah.
super
There's a
interesting.
lot of-
I'm just
Finish
curious. I
finish
think
where I'm
it
going.
is.
Yes, it
Okay.
is. Well, it was. There's a lot of British. I mean, Hong Kong was a British colony for just a
Right.
little while. So you take George Washington. When he was born, slavery has been on this continent for 100 years. So if you were born and grew up in it,
Right.
you're going to be, I hate to say it, but
That's just the way it is.
numb to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
common.
you would just
It's
look at it
common.
as this. That's just the way the world
just,
is.
Right. Just like today, people are born with abortion. That they, you know what I mean? They're numb to that. You don't
Right.
think about it, even though it's horrid and it goes on every day. You don't go around thinking about it. So he didn't go around thinking about it, even though he didn't like it
Right.
and he didn't want it to be here. Neither did Benjamin Franklin. They knew they could not make this country and outlaw slavery in the Constitution. So they had to accept that evil. They had to allow that into this country,
Right.
in order for the country to form and grow into what it has become today.
Right.
Which is the most diverse country in the world.
I hate how people say all the time, though, like they always point at that and they're like, you know, black people were slaves. And yes, at one point,
So were white
Africans were, but that's what I'm
Every
saying. Like,
race has been slaves.
that's where they try to avoid that situation, even that conversation is, so were the Jews. So were all the white people. So were the Irish. I mean, the Irish were over here. When the Irish came over here, most of them weren't allowed to work. They were considered white trash.
Yeah.
Their women were taken from them, put into sex slavery.
Yep.
Like there was all that going on. But let's just look at this one problem we had over here. Let's not look at all these other problems that existed at the same time. But we're just going to point at this one thing, and it's like we built, and it's the whole thing where they say we built this country. It's like, who built the railroads? The Asians built the railroads. They were slaves on that one. So who? Yeah. So who? Like at that point, it's always been this way. It's been a classism thing.
Right.
I'm saying classism,
right.
elite thing. If you have the money and you have all the power, well, then you have your peasants.
The first slave
you have
owner,
the peasants that do all the work.
In America was black.
Well,
It was the very first.
Right.
There's been white slaves in this country.
Yeah.
Indian slaves. I mean, Native American.
Well, that one black dude, he was there was one story about he was a slave. His slave owner freed him. He got some land. He tried to work that land and he couldn't. So he bought, I think it was 2 black ones and a white one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he had a white and black slaves. And then he turned out to be one of the most meanest slave owner ever.
And,
like reported in history, dude, he was an evil dude.
And by the way, real quick, because I did watch a documentary on this.
You all right?
I pulled it with but like I did watch a documentary on this. Well, I'm just gonna fall, man.
You turn into Biden.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Let me sniff your hair.
Oh no.
He's not young enough.
No,
I'm gonna
but
get some ice cream real quick. You know?
No,
I said he's not young enough.
actually, technically, pretty much every person who was sold from Africa was at first under slavery of people
The
that
African
actually
kingdom,
were
yeah.
African, because
No,
the majority of the people that were being sold at that point in time were not allowed to. The British were not allowed to come on land. Actually, to even
they
anything.
waited on the beaches.
They had to.
They brought them to
They
the
were
beaches.
not allowed on by the fiefs.
Well, they didn't even know the terrain.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was
Yes.
like that's a
But
very
they were
it's a
also
very
going.
dangerous.
They also were dying from the diseases.
Right, that's what I'm
too.
saying. It's a very dangerous terrain. They walk in there. I mean, there's lions and all that other stuff. I mean, Africa's a pretty.
Right.
It's some
But
big
the-
animals there to
The
rip you
African
apart.
governments that had
And then the
control
diseases.
would not allow
The
them.
African slaves.
Right.
The Africans sold. their
That's what
own
I'm saying.
people
That's what I'm
to
saying.
slaves.
That's
what
why
I'm saying.
Easiest way
I
to say
hate
it,
I
yeah.
hate when people say though, like they're like no, we came over there and then we went into their land and then we just took them. It's like that's not how that happened at all. Like
that the Americans
we
were the
not
ones
we
that
but
did
the
bad
British bottom.
things.
I have-
Technically, the first
It
ones to do the
doesn't-
bad things were the Africans.
It doesn't matter because I'm going to say this, and this is the way the world needs to go. There's not a slave owner nor a slave alive
Still
today.
alive.
Not today, no.
No,
and
it's
it needs to
over.
go
Yeah,
away. I
it's-
don't care
it's
what
done.
your ancestors did. I don't care. I mean, I know my ancestors came from Germany.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
after slavery was abolished. So
Do I
How
smell
am-
gas?
do you see?
Are you going to gas
did
from
you catch
chamber?
that?
No, I'm just joking.
Did you catch that? I got the gas turned on the fireplace.
It is.
Trying to get these
It
guys.
is a way to divide the people. A house divided cannot stand.
I know. I know what it is. I can't stand how many people really fall for it and then continue to say you know what I mean, like they point out all 4 of us and be like, you guys
Have privilege.
are you
We're
have white privilege. And it's like that doesn't exist. Look, man, I got 3 prison numbers. My mom was a single mom, 9 kids. We lived in trash.
I can
like,
guarantee
There was no privilege there.
I can
there was
guarantee
no
it.
privilege.
when the city comes to shut my water off and knocks on my door to try to get
Right.
payment, and I open it, I go, "Can I help you?" And they say, "We're here to turn your water off."
and you just
but
hand
we
them that white
notice you're
privilege
white,
card.
So we're going to go ahead and leave it on. That
No,
doesn't happen.
it's never happened. We've had our
Yeah.
our hot water turned off, our
Mhm.
electricity turned off. I mean, dude, when I was a kid, we had to take baths in totes.
Yeah.
Where my mom would no listen. My
I had
mom
to
would
put the lid on it.
my mom she should have, but no, my mom would boiled water on the stove
Yeah.
and poured in the cold water
Yeah.
to warm it up
It
just
happens.
enough
Right.
to where you could take a comfortable bath. You know what I mean, and,
Right.
and get clean. That's how we took baths.
There's nothing wrong with it. She
No,
did
there's
what she
nothing
had
wrong
to
with
do.
it. She took a situation and was like, this is how she reacted to a situation
We're,
she was in.
My mom sent me outside to swim in a baby pool with girls in my underwear.
Okay.
And now
We're
I
getting-
realize how
we're
bad
not-
that was.
We're
That's
not
like,
going back to the
Michael
triple X thing.
Tony
We're out
Rice.
of
You
we're
can
out of
see through
time,
those when you're,
guys.
wet.
We're out of
Yeah.
time.
Okay,
Okay,
we out of
let's bring
time?
it. Let's bring
Yeah,
it back
we're
to the
running out of time.
not triple X.
All right.
you know,
Well, we didn't
story.
really talk about everything we want to
All right.
talk about. This
All
is
right,
not
we
the
went off the
stories we
rails.
picked, but somehow we got on this topic because I guess we feel it's important
It is.
Right.
to put out there. But
We're trying. We too are trying to help and save
we
America.
appreciate the people who watch this. Please,
absolutely.
subscribe, like, share it, smash that bell, and tell other people about it. As we grow, we'll get better equipment. We'll get the studio will get better instead of my front room.
Right.
So we're trying to grow this.
We're working on it.
We enjoy doing this, and we want you guys to be a part of it with us.
I'm going to give my friend a quick help. City of Xenia, fix your roads. Fix your roads.
Amen.
You know what roads we're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Hey, I live in Springfield. They need to fix their roads too. So
Springfield, you
ain't,
too.
you ain't getting all the money out
Where's
here.
my taxes going?
Yeah.
If you guys have any suggestions for us, on how to make it better, anything you want to
Yeah,
see,
hit that comment section and let us
please
know.
let us know.
I thought you liked being part of the show.
Oh,
Hey, you're the first, you're the first one to go, bro.
If they suggest something, then I think you're going to be going.
Look, if it'll help the group,
Oh, poor
then
Devin.
I will take that upon myself
I'm just joking.
as
He
a
said, "I'm going to
deed of
unsubscribe."
goodwill.
We love haters too. If you don't like us, tell us.
Yeah.
We'll work something out.
It might make me happier.
Whatever you guys feel would make it better,
Right.
then just let us know, and we will jump on that. We really enjoy doing.
But we
this.
can't please everybody, so don't
Yeah.
get mad if we don't do what you say.
Yeah. But we might.
Or we
Yeah, but
might.
Yeah, but we might.
I heard last time they said you need a bag for your face, Greg.
Do I?
Yeah.
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 You guys are too distracted by my
It's
good looks.
terrifying. It's terrifying.
No, but I ordered one from Amazon. It's on order.
I can't wait. I can't wait. All right.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to sign off. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great
God
week.
bless America.
God bless
Bless
America.
See y'all later. Have a
Support
good
your
one.
troops.